this dose of Cinemania, we'll look at the top 5 silver screen adaptations of classic novels, relive Michael Moore's controversial Academy Award acceptance speech, and find out which car film is Cinemania's best. All this and more as we look at the silver screen's best and worst in Cinemania. While it's never easy to adapt classic literature for the big screen, some filmmakers more than succeed. Let's take a look at Cinemania's top 5. Coming in at number 5 is classic to screen adaptation of the science fiction adventure, The Time Machine.
Where do you come from?
I'm from the past.
It's been more than 100 years since author and science fiction buff H.G. Wells wrote his classic book, The Time Machine, and over 40 years since filmmaker George Pal turned it into a motion picture. But in 2002, filmmakers were able to improve the tale, taking advantage of the latest movie-making technology. H.G. Wells' great-grandson Simon Wells was responsible for this special effects-heavy adaptation, which included the most expensive prop ever built for a movie at the time, the Time Machine itself. The film offers viewers an interesting glimpse of a futuristic New York City, but differs from the original 1960s film, as well as Wells's novel, which were both set in London. Coming in at number 4 on Cinemania's top 5 classic literary adaptations is Vanity Fair, a romantic drama written by William Makepeace Thackeray. For the 2004 adaptation, one of America's most popular stars took on the challenge to play one of Britain's most classic heroines.
Are you trying to steer me towards an indiscretion?
Would you like me to?
No man has managed it yet.
Oscar winner Reese Witherspoon did a remarkable job introducing audiences to Rebecca Sharp, a funny, passionate and determined girl who struggles with her desire to climb the London social ladder.
You know I'd do anything for you.
Witherspoon, known mostly for her role as the ditzy Elle Woods in Legally Blonde, was transformed into a true character of British literature. She brings to life Rebecca's determination to conquer English society by any means possible.
And the higher she climbs...
How do you like your new place?
My place? How kind of you to remind me.
This portrayal of a classic novel brought contemporary audiences in touch with one of the greatest female characters ever created. That makes this literary adaptation worthy of 4th position.
You innocent?
Coming in at number 3 is a classic that's set in 16th century Venice and penned by William Shakespeare. The 2004 adaptation of The Merchant of Venice starred some of Cinemania's greatest actors, most notably Al Pacino, who bravely took on the role of the Jewish moneylender, Shylock.
I will show. Go with me to a notary and seal me there your single bond. And in a merry sport, if you repay me not on such a day, in such a place, such a sum or sums as are expressed in the condition, let the forfeit be nominated for an equal pound of your fair flesh.
Until this adaptation, the anti-Semitism evident in the tale made The Merchant of Venice the only major work by Shakespeare to never have been produced by a major studio. Surprisingly, in 2004, the film's unsavoury themes resonated with audiences. For this reason, this literary classic comes in at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is Oliver Twist, one of the most popular books ever written. In 2005, Charles Dickens's classic novel received a makeover from award-winning director Roman Polanski. Before Polanski's film, Oliver Twist had been adapted for TV, cinema, and even a Hollywood musical. Dickens' story of childhood, poverty and hope has endured for generations among readers of all ages. The tale remains timeless, thanks to its clever mix of wit and humour, alongside depictions of misery and hardship.
William Sykes, a well-known dangerous villain.
You know what this is?
Fancy
see that? You're famous, Fagin.
Dickens wrote Oliver Twist as a criticism of the awful conditions inflicted by the government upon the poor. Although dark and pessimistic at times, the story also recognises the power of the human spirit as Oliver abandons a life of crime and fights his way to a rich, kindly family.
Thank you, sir, for your kindness. I'll always remember it.
That gives this timeless tale Cinemania's number 2 position. Coming in at number 1 is Jane Austen's humorous story of love and life among the English gentility. In 2005, Keira Knightley led the silver screen adaptation of Pride and Prejudice.
As the companion of my future life.
Sir, I cannot accept you.
The classic novel tells the story of the 5 Bennet sisters growing up in the class-conscious Britain of the late 18th century. In keeping with the period, the young sisters are preoccupied with finding a suitable husband to secure their future.
Your mother insists on you marrying Mr. Collins.
Yes, I shall never see her again.
Lizzie, from this day onward, you must be a stranger to one of your parents.
Who will maintain you when your father is dead?
Your mother will never see you again if you do not marry Mr. Collins, and I will never see you again if you do.
Mr. Bennet. Thank you, Papa.
Elizabeth comes to find that in love, Pride and Prejudice make strange bedfellows. British director Joe Wright's silver screen adaptation was very well received, ensuring that a new generation come to know why Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice is one of English literature's most enduring love stories.
Could you expect me to rejoice in the inferiority of your circumstances?
From the first moment I met you, your arrogance made me realise that you were the last man in the world I could ever marry.
Making this classic Cinemania's greatest adaptation.
I'm here to open up an account.
Okay, what type of account would you?
I want the account where I can get the free gun.
American filmmaker Michael Moore is famous for his unapologetic attacks on corporations and politicians. In 2002, the baseball cap-wearing director's anti-gun lobby documentary, Bowling for Columbine, grabbed the headlines at Cannes and went on to gross $120 million worldwide. His Oscar win gave Michael another platform to voice his opinions.
We live in a time where we have a man sending us to war for fictitious reasons.
The Oscar-winning director's next documentary, Fahrenheit 9/11, focused on how America and the White House reacted to the September 11 hijacking attacks. It also traced links between the Bush family and prominent Saudis, including the family of Osama bin Laden.
Of small-town America.
The 2-hour film depicts President Bush as lazy and oblivious to warnings in 2001 that Al-Qaeda was poised to strike. The fast-moving film used a mocking soundtrack to great effect and is a telling work of propaganda.
Story that will make your temperature rise.
While the critics of the documentary said it was politically motivated and highly inaccurate, Michael Moore's Fahrenheit 9/11 debuted #1 at the American box office.
Thank you. Now watch this drive.
While cars are used in almost every film, in some films they become a character themselves. Stay tuned as we count down Cinemania's best car movies. Cinemania's 5th best car film is the 2003 remake of The Italian Job. The movie follows a set of criminals who, after pulling off an amazing gold bullion heist, are double-crossed by one of their own men. Now their mission has gone from pay off to pay back.
The escape was clean.
What are you going to do with your share?
Although the remake is completely different from the 1968 version, the new film does retain some of the original elements. There are still thieves, heists, and dramatic car chases full of Mini Coopers.
Open your door!
32 minis were used while shooting the film, and though all of the stars received training in stunt driving, the cast agreed that actress Charlize Theron was the best driver between them.
Got the Holy Spirit.
The Italian Job.
You know this was never about the gold.
Whatever helps you sleep, sweetheart.
Coming in at number 4 on Cinemania's list of greatest car films is another remake. The 2004 film Taxi is an English-language version of the 1998 film of the same name, directed by Luc Besson.
I'm still running this meter.
The film focused on Belle, the best taxi driver in Manhattan. A single mother and former pizza delivery girl, she becomes renowned for racing through the city streets at high speeds.
Who is gonna pay that? This is a badge, okay? That means you're not allowed to scream at me. No. Give me this thing. Ah!
Belle is brought into the NYPD fold when Andy Washburn, the worst driver on the force, persuades her to use her driving skills to help him stop a team of bank robbers. The high-speed game of cat and mouse is helped by the taxi, which seems to have a few extra features built in. That's why Taxi takes the 4th position.
You okay?
Yeah.
Damn.
The 3rd position on Cinemania's list of best car films is the Fast and the Furious sequel, Too Fast, Too Furious.
Do it, bro! Come on, Pierce, you got it, man. You think I'm worried about this fool, man? This is nothing.
When the first film, The Fast and the Furious, was released in 2001, the action flick connected with young people all over the world, setting a new standard for urban racing films. In 2003, the film's producers upped the ante, creating the sequel, Too Fast, Too Furious. For the bridge jump, most of the cars were heavily reinforced with roll cages, with Paul Walker's Nissan Skyline converted to rear-wheel drive to make its manoeuvres appear more dramatic. That's why Too Fast, Too Furious is Cinemania's 3rd greatest car film. Coming in at number 2 is the family-friendly car film where all the cars perform their own stunts. The computer-animated Cars is a story of a haughty race car that gets a lesson on life in the slow lane.
Faster than fast, quicker than quick. I am lightning.
The film, set in a world populated by talking automobiles, featured the voice of Owen Wilson as Lightning McQueen. On the way to a big race, McQueen ends up stranded.
You're in Radiator Springs, the cutest little town in Carburetor County.
How about some organic fuel? Take a car wash, hippie.
There, through the help of a crusty old Hudson, a sleek Porsche, a rusty tow truck, and the town's other four-wheeled inhabitants, he learns the value of slowing down and hanging with a loving pit crew.
Well, how does a Porsche wind up in a place like this?
I fell in love.
Oh, Corvette.
Hey there, Mater.
You know her?
The lovable Cars of Cars helped this automobile film speed into 2nd place. Cinemania's greatest car film is the descendant from a long line of car films. It's Herbie, Fully Loaded, and in 2005, Herbie was accompanied by teen queen Lindsay Lohan, who played aspiring race car driver Maggie.
What's going on?
It's got more horsepower than I expected.
The adventures of the little white VW Beetle first hit the big screen in the late 1960s when Disney released Herbie the Love Bug. The film was a huge hit and fueled a convoy of follow-up movies, a television series, even cartoons.
Winked at me. You feeling okay?
Herbie the Love Bug is a 1963 Volkswagen Beetle Deluxe ragtop sedan. For the film, the producers had to find nearly 40 Beetles, and quite a few were written off during the making of the film.
We're connected or something.
Herbie is a car.
In 2005, new technologies like green screens and computer-generated images were used to soup up the 21st century model. The indomitable Herbie is probably the most famous car in movie history. That's why Herbie Fully Loaded came in at number 1, making it Cinemania's greatest car film. Actress Vivien Leigh is best known for playing Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind and Blanche Dubois in A Streetcar Named Desire. While her film appearances weren't as regular as other legendary actors, Vivien successfully left her mark on the silver screen.
Southern hospitality's at fever pitch as distinguished visitors arrive, headed by producer David Selznick and screen stars Olivia de Havilland and Vivien Leigh.
She was first introduced to American audiences through her famed character Scarlett O'Hara. The classic film Gone with the Wind gave Leigh overnight attention and fame. The widely publicised search to find an actress to portray Scarlett is as legendary as the film itself.
War, war, war. This war talk's spoiling all the fun at every party this spring. I get so bored I could scream.
Whilst famous for her cinematic appearances, Vivien preferred stage acting and often teamed with her husband, Laurence Olivier. Constant health problems took their toll on Vivien, who died suddenly of tuberculosis in 1967. Today, this two-time Academy Award winner is considered a legend of American cinema.
You turned me out while you chased Ashley Wilkes, while you dreamed of Ashley Wilkes. This is one night you're not turning me out.
Time to count down silver screen adaptations of popular video games, from the puzzling to the action-packed, which will come in at number 1. Coming in at number 5 is a film for the fans of the gory video game Blood Rain. In 2005, gamers were able to sink their teeth into the film version of the vampire action-adventure. Starring Kristanna Loken and Ben Kingsley, Blood Rain is set in 18th century Romania. Rain, who is a vampire half-breed, strives to avenge the rape of her mother by her father Kagan, king of vampires. For this film, it doesn't matter if you're a fan of the game or not. When making the film, director Uwe Boll decided to target mainstream audiences.
For centuries we've been cursed with the shadows, slaughtered by the fearful. Have you not always longed for freedom, Rain?
You condemned me the day you raped my mother.
It's clear that this dark movie is cut to please both fans of the game and fans of horror films in general. That's why Blood Rain is Cinemania's 5th greatest video game adaptation.
Blood Rain.
Number 4 is the film Silent Hill. Based primarily on the first 2 Silent Hill games, the film follows Rosa da Silva as she travels to Silent Hill, West Virginia, to try and unlock secrets from her adoptive daughter's past. The trip takes a turn for the worst when the daughter disappears in the barren town, leaving her mother to find her among evil lookalikes and other terrifying residents of Silent Hill. Unlike the video game, most of the characters in Silent Hill are women. One of the few male roles went to British actor Sean Bean. In the Nightmare movie, much of the film was enhanced by computer graphics, although not to the same extent as other horrors. That's why Silent Hill sits in 4th place. Cinemania's 3rd greatest video game adaptation is Resident Evil Apocalypse. This film picks up where the 2002 cult favourite Resident Evil left off. In Resident Evil Apocalypse, actress and model Mila Jovovich returned to play the elite military agent, Alice. This time around, Alice finds herself in the aftermath of Raccoon City after a virus has turned most of the citizens into man-eating zombies. Trying to save herself and contain the virus, Alice meets up with Agent Jill Valentine and Special Agent Carlos Oliveira.
Move!
Apparently, the main actors prepared for their roles by playing the video game through to the end. Resident Evil Apocalypse had one of the most watched trailers on the internet, with around 8.5 million downloads from November 2003 to May 2004. That makes this action-packed game adaptation worthy of third position. Number 2 is an adaptation all about beating up monsters in space. It's based on the popular video game Doom. In the Doom movie, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson plays Sarge, whose rapid response tactical squad are the only souls allowed in or out of a science lab on Mars. The lab, where an experiment had gone horribly wrong, is a level 5 quarantine where demons are killing people.
Handle ID, Sarge.
Game time. Listen up, man. We're going in hot.
If it breathes, kill it.
This is another film where it doesn't matter if you're a fan of the game or not. In fact, period drama veteran Rosamund Pike, who played scientist Dr. Samantha Grimm, didn't even realise that the script was based on a computer game. Doom serves up an extended film climax that pays homage to the game's landmark first-person shooter feature. Similarly, the sequence in the film puts the viewer in the shoes of the monster hunter. This amazing adaptation blasted its way to second position. Finally, in the number 1 spot is the Angelina Jolie vehicle Lara Croft Tomb Raider. The first film, released in 2001, appealed to both Lara Croft gamers and a wider film-loving audience, prompting a sequel in 2003.
Rice is going to find Pandora's box.
In the first action-packed film, Angelina was required to wear a heavily padded bra to help her measure up against the video game character. The padding was forgotten when it came time to film the sequel, as a decision was made to allow Lara to have a more realistic figure.
I need her share.
The films are non-stop action-packed romps across the globe. They're visually stunning and filled with stunts designed to leave audiences breathless.
Talk about taking the fun out of life.
With studies showing that almost half of Americans aged 12 to 55 have played a video game, it's no surprise that the movie industry is trying to profit off a game's success.
This rock is the map.
Throughout the film, fans of the game will be able to spot several scenes in which the live-action Lara mimics the computer game version. While there are many around, Lara Croft Tomb Raider tops Cinemania's list of greatest video game adaptations. That's all we've got time for. Be sure to tune in next time to get your dose of Cinemania.